Henshin Inspection presents Going Ultra. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Prepare yourself for hard-hitting Ultraman discussion and analysis. Would you choose to live a beautiful lie with the people you love, or embrace a painful truth alone for the sake of the world? That's the question Ultraman Arc asks in its final episode. And honestly, the first 8 minutes got me crying and working on this little intro here. So, yeah, I thought episode 25 of Arc was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It was fantastic. There's never been a better episode. And it was just, it was fantastic. This is full spoilers for Arc. One of the things I really like is that there's no climactic battle. I mean, there is a climactic battle and crazy stuff happens, but really, the way that the episode gets to reach the point of fully climax is that it has Arc just do some stuff, and because he's a wizard, because he's a magical spaceman, he's just able to do these things, and he's able to manifest victory over this horrible evil because he has the imaginative capacity to. And it is, a little bit of a hat pull, but at the same time, based on Swede's comments earlier in the episode, it's also a legitimate thing. So, man, I took so many screenshots of this episode because it was so crazy, all the things that were happening. I don't want to do a synopsis. I don't want to do a review of the episode, but I do just want to touch on all these different points. So let me see if I can look at each of these images and kind of like say something based on each of them, because there's so many great shots in here and there's so many meaningful moments. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to start with Swede real quick. Yuma realizes that he's in a dream. See, I feel like I'm recapping now, but I'm not recapping. I'm giving context for the moment. When Yuma realizes he's in the dream and he wants to break out of it, Swede takes over as the voice of the TV anchor, and then she crawls her way out of the screen, which was like a really cool moment. She doesn't actually crawl her way all the way out. She rests her arms on it and says, like, look, if I, as a higher being than you, had the capacity, the ability to deceive myself and delude myself into imagining that everything was just okay, everything was just hunky-dory, then I would have already fixed my problem with my universe or galaxy, whatever, being about to explode. I felt like that's what she was saying, and I thought, I wonder if Yuma, if he just went there, could he fix it? Well, that'll be addressed later. But for now, I thought that was a really great moment. I liked the breakdown. The only thing I thought was a little bit confusing is this dream happening now after the events of episode 25, or was it happening during episode 24 when he was in the dream? Probably not during 24. I think that was a separate issue. But also, I don't understand how the Skip crew was able to create this Ghostbuster machine thing that Shu wore and used to go ahead and fight the kaiju and break the barrier that it had around it. Very Ghostbusters 2. Very end of Ghostbusters 2. It's a strange thing that happened. And I don't, they looked like they were in their office, which if it's the set, it's the same set, but it's supposed to be like a different branch or whatever, that's fine. But I honestly didn't feel like that was very well explained. So, it's not a perfect ending. And then they also, made sure to mention, oh, yeah, we took a sample of this energy from such and such, and we're using it here. Boom. It's in your little backpack, in your proton pack shoe. Was that from the Pikachu episode, or the electric mouse, the electric rat? Was it from that episode that they had the sample, or was this from something else entirely? I don't even know. I don't even care, though, because whatever. BS, hand wave it away. They were able to make a solution for Ishido to somehow interfere with the electromagnetic waves that were coming from the from Gil Baku's little belly thing, his little troll belly button jewel thing that he's got going on there. And he was able to disrupt the thing and able to wake up Yuma. And one thing I really loved is that everybody, Chief Bond said it, Ishido said it, the others, I think, felt it too. They're like, we're going to save Ultraman. No, we're going to save Yuma, our friend. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really touching. I really enjoyed that. I read in the trivia, which I'm not going to read to you, because it's just kind of, some of it's a little bit obvious, but some of it's just kind of interesting. You should check it out for yourself at the Ultraman Wiki or wherever you get your Ultraman trivia, is that the man who played Tetsuya, I believe, is Yuma's father. He had like a bowl of nothing. He had a plate of nothing, and he poured imaginary soy sauce onto the bowl. And the production crew saw that, and they got him a blank newspaper. A newspaper with no, like, it had all the framing or whatever, but it was no actual newspaper. I don't quite know how they did that, but they did, and that's pretty cool. It's sitting on the table there. And like Yuma's bed is empty. It's in the middle of an empty room. He pulls a single bottle of water out of the fridge, and he's like, "Wait a minute." And then the only thing I have a little quibble with is his parents are like, "Oh, isn't it a miracle that we survived?" And Yuma's like, "A miracle? Yeah, it was a miracle. This is fake." It was a little too sudden, but also, this is the world of Ultraman. It's the world of kaiju. It's the world of, well, ultras. I think miracles should be fine. Like, if they had played it off as being something ordinary, I would understand. Or like, "Oh, that was all a dream, Yuma, don't worry." But I guess like Gilbaku's and Swede's like hastily put together a world. This is from the trivia. Like, it was supposed to be like, they didn't do a very good job. They didn't do a very good job of selling the lie. So that part is a little disappointing, honestly. I wish it had been a little bit of something else that tipped Yuma off that this wasn't real. But ultimately, I'm okay with it. It's not that big of a deal. A lot of great shots, a lot of cool images going on here. I wish we'd gotten a little bit more of Arc fighting in the Dream Bubble City thing, but it was cool that, like, I'm confused as to, like, was Hoshimoto destroyed or not? I don't think it was, because they're all in Hoshimoto later. Maybe it looked as if it had been destroyed because of this Dream Bubble thing, maybe. And maybe that ending was just to fake us out, I'm not really sure. But it's cool that when Yuma awakens as Arc and he, like, does this cool cartwheel, like, he passes in front of this building that I'm pointing at it, you can't see. He passes in front of this building that has this really great mirrored reflection, or mirrored surface, the windows, and you can see his reflection of his like hand casually in there as he's like posing to fight and stuff. And then he's like, "Oh, look at this mirror and see if I can talk." And because it's a dream, he can talk to Yuma. But before, what I was gonna say, when he goes into that world is, I saw one of the buildings kind of like move a couple feet over, like slide, and I thought, was that an accident in the production, or is it because it's like? And then as I was thinking that thought, the buildings came and hemmed him in, and he had to, like, I don't even know how he got out of the way. Like, he jumped out of the way or knocked buildings over or what, I don't know what he did, but it was really cool and it was a lot of fun. So that was neat. I really liked this. There's this great image. It's like a split second. I had to go back and capture the image. It was really difficult to, well, not really difficult, but it was harder than usual to capture the image because it's for a second. Arc is there and doing his beam pose, and the GDF planes are flying over to attack the kaiju while he's like still waking up, and it makes a really cool moment. And I can't remember, did they actually kill Gilbaku? Is that what happens? And then Swede takes on her alien form, or whatever, her fighting form. Maybe that's what happens. Yeah, but like that Swede kaiju is like, anyway, Swede is like really nasty. And she gives a great, like, I hate and resent you performance. And yeah, she's not a nice lady. Not a nice lady at all. And her form being like a weird like inversion of Arc, maybe. Like, she's almost like an evil Arc in her kaiju form, I think, anyway. She's got the fin. Instead of having two eyes, she's got like this gap, this like weird hollow gap that kind of shows Solana, I guess, maybe from her home galaxy. Because she's supposed to be somehow, I guess Lord Zesu made her a separate, because he mentioned in the previous episodes, like don't forget, if you fail, I can still unlock you. So I think he unlocked her, and what he unlocked was the fact that she is a Zesu gate, a Zesu gate as well. So her form is almost like if you took the onyx in that weird ball kind of shape that it had, and all the ridges and whatever on it, if you took the onyx and then you reshaped it into like an armor, it turned her into like an evil Ultra with that. And even the color timer is, like, even though I said the face has like a hollow in it and it shows Solana coming through, it's almost like when they went up close on the chest, you could see Solana like flaring in there, almost like as if that solar energy was coming and it was going to come out of the hole in her chest and unleash all the solar energy and kill the planet, which was really cool. And then I love that Yuma, and here's another little complaint. And the complaint is about the execution of the effect and not the actual concept behind it. So somehow Yuma, like, his power is all drying up, and I think maybe Swede is nullifying the Zesu gate in him, the Galaxer, the whatever, the Onyx. I think that's what's happening. But somehow, I guess I don't know, maybe it was kind of like 0-1. It almost seems like Yuma in this dream state creates himself a super form that is beyond, even farther beyond. I don't know why that joke has become so popular with me lately. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure Yuma creates for himself an extra power. So in the notes, I'm going to read from the notes now. It says, regarding the concept of arc finalized overload sensation, Tsujimoto explained when Ultraman fires a beam. Oh, maybe that's not. I don't know. I think that's like the final form of arc that just looks like base arc. I don't know if there's anything different about him. I don't think there is. And it's just kind of funny that it seems to be this other thing. Let me pause real quick. Yes, it's very unclear what this is. Like, Arc has a cool fight, and he gets extra powers, but like his superpowers aren't actually what helps him to win against Sweet here. Like, it's his heart. But let me get back real quick. So the Monogallows horn, he gets knocked all the way back to the forest, whatever, the mountain where the Monogallows horn is, and he somehow, this is what I was getting at. There's a clear cube that's being assembled in the sky, like a dungeon dice monster dice, but it's going in reverse. And so opening, it's closing, and it's like here's the Monogallows horn over here, and then here's the cube, and it's forming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it stays there. And Yuma passes that, and you see him going past those things, or you see him going past the Monogallows horn, you see the cube, and you see him unleashing what looks like all the powers of the Galaxer just on his own. He's like, he does this, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, like blades come out almost like the feather things from the Galaxer. I know I sound like an idiot just trying to describe this, but it's it's accurate. You know what I'm talking about. And then other ones come from behind him because he does some other flourish. And then as he gets to Sweet, because he's running towards her, and he's attacking with his melee or his range attacks. He gets to her. She's like, she's blocking all off, possibly with Solana energy, possibly with just whatever Onyx energy she has, or Zesu Gate energy she has. And then the final thing that happens is the cube comes crashing into her, and it looks like the Monogallows horn was inside of the cube. You saw the episode, so you know what I'm talking about. But the amazing thing is that I want to point out is that with his imagination, he figured, oh, I'm just going to plug that hole. I'm going to plug that hole. I want to say something else. I'm going to plug that hole, and the tip of the Monogallows horn gets lodged in her, and he comes along and he does this great chop, and it he twists into a crouch and does a little pose, and the camera captures it. It looks really great. Like, it's fun. As much as I said there wasn't like a big spectacular fight at the end, there was a cool fight, but like the climax is an emotional climax that happens in just like a moment. Like, he's beaten her and it's done. They're over. And then he has this whole thing with the skip crew for a couple minutes, which was fantastic. So anyway, I really like that. What I didn't like about that was the effect shot didn't show the cube forming around the Monogallows horn, which it should have. And I don't know why it didn't, because wouldn't have ruined the surprise. It would just be like, why is he making a cube around the Monogallows? And then when it crashes into her and it stabs into her chest, and you realize that she's like trying to pull it out, but she can't with her kaiju fingers because it's wedged in there, and he's chopped it off. It's just so cool. And it would have been great had the effect been correct and like properly lined up. And even like they did this thing where like Arc and Yuma show up at the same time. Like, Yuma's superimposed onto Arc, and like his hoodie is like unzipped in a way that kind of matches the patterning on Arc's chest, which is pretty cool, but like it's not quite right. And like he's over here a little bit, Yuma is, so it's like like they could have done a little bit better job, but like it's still really good, and I'm fine with it. I'm not mad about those things. They're not ruining the show for me at all. It's a great show, great climax to the like great emotional finish to the story and to this episode and to the show overall. And I really, really liked it. So that was a lot of fun. And then like I'd been complaining about the lack of trick shots and stuff like that, and like I want the spectacle, but I want the heart too. But like the heart's been there, which I'll get to in a minute. The heart's been there for sure, but the spectacle on top of it just makes it all the sweeter. And I love that she's pushing him back as he's doing his final attack. And she pushes him all the way around the world, and then they're standing back to back, and he's just continuing the blast. And it just like shows this like infinite power almost that he has. And I guess it's the infinite power of imagination, which I will get to that in a bit. But then he does the thing that he used against the Daigalos, where he shakes the beam, and for whatever reason, that's able to shake it in such a way that it destroys her. It goes through that void head of hers and completely destroys the kaiju, and then like that's it. Then we're done. Like there's no fallout. There's no like pausing. Like he walks past her, she explodes. Zesu's head pops up and she explodes, or like I don't know, he does whatever, and then fades away, and like that's it. And then it goes to the emotional climax of the episode, which was really fantastic. Swede said something like, "I'm so resentful of you because your power of imagination, because you're this lower life form, you disgust me. It could fix our problem, the problem in our solar system." And then, again, spoilers, you've seen it, so you know. At the end of the episode, it's been 3 months. They do a flash forward, and it seems like Yuma signaled him in the sky with some flashing lights, and then now he's back on Earth, and he called into the skip hotline. You can tell, because everybody's so excited and they're fighting over, who gets to talk to him or whatever. And, of course, his boy Ishido is talking to him, or Shu, I should say. And it's been 3 months, and I guess in that time, Yuma has traveled to the home galaxy, and he's fixed Solana with the power of imagination, which is awesome, because it almost feels like in this final confrontation, kind of metaphorically, and accepting the pain and like choosing to live with the pain, Yuma/Arc has opened himself up to be this channel for infinite energy and infinite possibility, and he can do anything with his imagination because he's this flawed, inferior human being. He can go to someone else's galaxy and change the reality of their world and fix their issues so that they can continue to live and flourish. And that's really awesome. That's really, really awesome. I absolutely love that. I think that's an incredible thing. I am forgetting something from earlier that I wanted to bring up at this point, but I don't remember what it was, unfortunately, for now. Oh, I don't remember what it was, but I do remember something else I wanted to talk about, which is this. And I am planning on, well, anyway. I think it's so beautiful. Let me go back to my images so I don't forget about it. Well, I won't forget about it. I think it's so beautiful that Yuma's being tempted to embrace this false world and to live happily with his parents. But the memories, the memories, either whether they're real or they're constructs of his memories only, these recreations of his real mom and dad show up, and they encourage their son to do the right thing. They tell him to get out of here, which I believe was an exact duplicate. "Time to run, Yuma, get out of here," is what they said to him to help save his life. He was ultimately almost crushed to death by the Monogelus. We know this from the show, and his life was saved, but Arc had to sacrifice all his power basically to save his life. Fantastic. Really interesting way to do it. Very tragic, very cool. And they're telling him to run, and they're telling him to get out of it, to get out of that dreamlike world. And he chooses to do that. We see him as a little boy running away from, like, nodding and like, I'm going to do this. And he runs away from his parents, and they're encouraging him to go. And then he passes by the camera, whoosh, and then you see adult Yuma running, and he holds up the thing, and the diamond comes out of it, and then Arc comes, and he's flying, and then he flies straight at the enemy kaiju to face it, and to face danger, and to face certain doom. And that's so beautiful and so amazing, because what is the object of parents but to raise their children into adults who will become people who can transform themselves through will and grit and determination and imagination and creativity into a being of light who can combat cosmic horrors? Like, what is a more beautiful symbology and representation of what it is to raise a child, to have a child, to bring a child into this world, and then raise them so they can go forward and fight for the future and make something better? Like, that's just absolutely gorgeous, and I absolutely love it, and I absolutely love this finale. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because I enjoyed it so much and thought it was so friggin' fantastic. More Ultraman coverage will come in the future. I'll let you know when to expect it, soonish, but not too soon. And yeah, I'd love to have a conversation about the show and about what's going on. Also, Ultraman Omega has been announced. That's coming. We don't know when yet, but we do know it's coming. So that's something to be excited about and talk about as well at some point soonish. That's about all I have to say for now. One last little bit of business before I get out of here. Let me tell you about my middle grade novel, Mockwing Mayhem. It's coming out. I'm working on cover design with a cover artist, and I'm working on building newsletter and all sorts of stuff. Speaking of which, the book's called Mockwing Mayhem, and this is the pitch the synopsis from the back of the book. Sinister gremlins lurk in the shadows, always hunting for children. Only the growbugs stand in their way. When a Mockwing, a mist-born gremlin, discovers a hidden growbug fort, it doesn't attack alone. It calls an entire flock. Now chirp the bold and quiver the cautious find themselves in a battle they were never trained for. Outnumbered and outmatched, can they survive the Mockwing's onslaught and save their master? Be the first to know when the growbugs take flight. Join the newsletter to receive a release date announcement, exclusive Growbug World content, special pre-order offers, and behind-the-scenes insights into the creation of the Growbugs and their world, which is featured in Mockwing Mayhem. Join me on this magical adventure where tiny guardians fight enormous evil. And yeah, I'd love for you to do that. You can find notes to that, links to that, through going through to the show notes or through the show notes. mjmunoz.com is where everything's going to be posted, as well as growbugs.com, which is also being worked on and in the process. So until next time, folks, take care and be well.